David Kane, Deputy Librarian at SETU.
Okay. So I became aware. All good? Yeah. I became aware of LIR early on in my library career. It was just after the turn of the century, and we didn't have all the cool technologies that we have now. And John's talk reminded us so well of those times. It felt like the Wild West, you know, doing mad things with the Telnet and such. At the time, I had a kind of a dim perception of LIR that I wasn't really clear what they did. They ran a listserv and maybe talked about information resources or something. And I kind of didn't really think about it much. But a few years later, in 2010, there was an email from the LIR listserv, which did catch my eye, and they were looking for someone with a systems background to join the committee. It gave me brief pause at the time, and then I pressed delete and continued with my life. But as time passed, my engagement with LIR began to deepen, and I found myself attending their annual seminars and even contributed myself at times. And Ronan, in his talk just there, reminded me of the talk I did on SMS integration, and I did another thing on some plugin for ePrints. I began to appreciate the important role that LIR plays in helping the library community to deal with the impact of technology. And so when the opportunity to join the committee came again, I didn't hesitate. Joining the committee marked an inflection in my library career. It was good to be an active participant in a community that was helping libraries to innovate better. I think a key ingredient in the success of LIR has been the unstinting support of HEAnet. And HEAnet is our host organization, and we were never refused the use of HEAnet rooms for meetings, and someone from HEAnet has always been an active member of the committee. During my time, these were Glenn Weirin firstly, then followed by Andrew Mackerel, and now we have Roberto Sabatino. And of course, HEAnet's mission is to enable Ireland's digital ambition by providing common, repeatable, shareable solutions for all of education, mostly at a network and infrastructural level, which I think rhymes nicely with the intention behind LIR's existence. It's also very positive that our membership now includes EduCampus, represented on our current committee by Antonio Collio. EduCampus coordinates the provision of shared services for education at the application level, including library management systems in the technological university sector. One of the things that characterizes the culture of academic librarianship across our country is the amazing community of practice. We share experiences, innovations, and learn together in many ways. LIR isn't the only place that we do this, but it remains important because of LIR's particular mission to keep librarians appraised of the state of the art in technologies as they affect libraries. I've been surprised actually that not all organizational functions in the third level engage in a community of practice in the same way as we do. And it's not a good thing, because I've seen the wheel being reinvented across different organizations precisely because they don't talk to one another. Libraries face great challenges now, and the recent COVID pandemic has forced a transition to virtual interactions, which we never completely have retreated from. Inequalities and accessibility issues related to connectivity and hardware have become more prominent. The burden of implementing a culture of open research falls disproportionately hard on academic librarians. We are taking a leadership role in providing services that didn't exist 10 or 20 years ago. Today, we're being asked to do digital preservation, data curation, data management planning, coding, etc. Fundamentally, the role is the same. We try to connect people with information, but the skills we need are changing. While collections remain important, it's our services and support that draw people to the library these days. In the digital age, the skills of information literacy, search and synthesis, using AI ethically, etc., are becoming more important. Within the library community, there are always individuals who possess the skills to do some of these things, but they can be few in number. A strategic aim of the LIR group is to create conditions to allow the transfer of these skills laterally within the sector through events like this, with opportunities to network, etc. A great attempt to overcome this during my time as chair of the LIR group was the carpentries movement. And I was first made aware of this thing called library carpentry by fellow LIR committee, Breda Herlihy from UCC. And that was late 2017. And I remember this quite well because the name I thought was really weird. But the carpentries movement is a great attempt to overcome this skills challenge. And I thought it was an ideal fit with the LIR mission. So it turns out that library carpentry, along with software carpentry and data carpentry, were part of a movement to enhance the skill sets of librarians and researchers that work with data. By pure coincidence, the International Light Carpentries Conference was being held in May of 2018 in UCD. The local sponsor was Davy Proteomics Lab at UCD, and there were 120 delegates from 5 continents. As far as I can remember, not one Irish librarian was there besides myself. Everyone else, it seemed, was at Connell that year, which I still have never been to, by the way. I've never been to Belfast either. So I definitely want to check those 2 boxes with the same biro next year. I was deeply impressed by the energy and the innovativeness and the drive of this carpentries community, and I made some great connections there and had a brilliant time. The carpentries aim is to build global capacity in essential data and computational skills for conducting efficient, open, and reproducible research. So there's a mouthful. The carpentries community supports collaborative development of a range of open source lessons on GitHub that teach skills such as the Unix shell, SQL, regular expressions, coding, and OpenRefine, among others. The carpentries workshops are hands-on and typically delivered in person, and the instructors themselves go through a 2-day training workshop that covers the basic of educational psychology, instructional design, and how to apply these in the classroom. We worked very hard in the LIR committee to grow the carpentries in Ireland during the next 2 years. We ran 3 workshops in Galway, Waterford, and Dublin during the following 12 months. And in June of 2019, we organised a 2-day carpentries instructor training workshop in UCD as a LIBR pre-conference event. And we had 25 participants from across Europe, 7 of whom were from Ireland. The training was delivered by Tim Dennis and Julianne Schneider, whom we had flown in from UCLA and from Harvard. Of course, the library carpentry wasn't the only thing we did at that time. We ran our annual seminars for 2018 and 2019, which were themed around usage analytics for e-resources and on artificial intelligence in libraries. And that 2019 seminar was the last hurrah before the COVID pandemic came in. I remember also we contracted a consultancy firm, Urbantide, to deliver some training for librarians in open data in late 2019 as well. Anyway, by March of 2020, we were plunged precipitously into pandemic panic. The first case of COVID-19 was confirmed on February 26th, and we were in full lockdown by the end of March. Everything went online, including LIR and our carpentries project. We radically embraced this change in LIR, and we were the first anywhere really to deliver carpentry lessons online. And these were well attended, not just by ourselves in Ireland, but also we had an international audience attending. And I think that was because of the novelty of the online delivery, but also people working from home suddenly had kind of more time as well. My stint at LIR ended as LIR chair ended in 2020 when I took up a new role. The committee continued to run an amazing set of events, which I won't go into in here, but again, mostly online because the pandemic was still ongoing. So I'm now ending my rambling recollections. I just want to say that my fellow librarians at the LIR committee are always such a pleasure to work with, and really we're such a dynamic group putting on all of these events. I've been involved in other things, and nothing, they're not quite as I think this is very impactful, a very impactful group to be involved in, and it's given me great satisfaction. And I thank you.